We all know that Test cricket is the ultimate pinnacle when it comes to the sport. Every cricketer that you look at it wants to play Test cricket. The ultimate aim for any budding cricketer, even on the streets, even especially if you look at India, is Test cricket. Yes, with the proliferation of T20 leagues all over the globe, priorities have now changed. South Africa has made it blatant that it prioritizes the SA20 because it gives them a profit. In England, the club versus country debate has been raging on for close to a decade. In India, because we are not winning ICC events on a consistent basis, there are question marks on whether we value Test cricket, whether we value ICC events, whether we value only T20 leagues. West Indies, New Zealand, they are all slipping away from the Test radar, and that is why very few nations can actually play Test cricket in a competitive way. Now, amidst the surge of T20 leagues all over the globe, with several leagues like the SA20, ILT20, in addition to the US T20 that's also coming up, Test cricket's pace has now come under the scanner. 6.5 hours max for 5 days on the trot. Is it too long? Former Australia skipper Ian Chappell tends to agree that the pace of Test cricket that is going on in the modern era is absolutely abysmal at this point in time. He's pointed out certain instances on the field where they have said that it must be stopped. Then and only then Test cricket will be revived. He cited the example of baseball and how Ben Stokes is trying to keep England and Test cricket very relevant with the style of cricket that they play. Yes, in the past, we have had Virendra Sehwag, Rishabh Pant, Adam Gilchrist, Ricky Ponting, Matthew Hayden all play Test cricket fast forward. But now, looking at the way how sluggish Test cricket can be, especially certain things like, oh, extra half an hour for not completing the overs, oh, stop because of bad light, all these kind of things have come into question. But Ian Chappell, in his column that he wrote for ESPN Cricinfo, has raised a very, very pertinent point and has suggested some radical changes when it comes to Test cricket. One of the things that he stated is that, when was the last time the stipulated minimum number of overs were completed in the regular time allotted for a Test day's play? 6 hours of cricket is ample. He does raise a valid point. When was the last time, barring the subcontinent thing is a different dynamic altogether. In the Sena country, when did we see full 90 overs being bowled without a glitch? Normally, if you have to complete 90 overs, you would have to do overtime. Bowl another extra half an hour according to the ICC playing conditions, and even then if you don't get it, you will get an over rate penalty. Now, in the Asian context, more spinners. That's why the over rates can be excellent in Asia. Ian Chappell's suggestion on last time stipulated minimum number of overs were completed holds true in the Sena countries, not so much in the Asian bloc, because Asian bloc spinners can just race through their overs. But it does raise a valid point. How many times have we gone overtime in trying to complete the overs? It's indeed happened a lot of times. For that particular thing, he has highlighted certain things that the ICC needs to clamp down on. He raises the questions like, why are batters allowed to meet mid-pitch during overs to discuss who knows what without penalty? Why allow drinks at times outside of the regular break? He gives an exception that, okay, if there is extreme heat, agreed, you can do it on that. But why, when you are already racing against time, why have a drinks break? Why do glove changes occur so often? Small issues, but that does build up to ensure that time is wasted. I mean, in the middle of the pitch, why are batsmen allowed to meet? During a drinks break, why there has to be so much of a drinks break, even in normal circumstances? You are meeting at that time, you are doing all of that. Why can't the ICC or the officials step in and impose a penalty? That can actually speed up the game, isn't it? And glove changes, every time you see, okay, we want a change of glove, oh, we want a change of helmet, we want a change of thing. Why can't in the clothing requirements and the clothing equipment and all the rules that is there, batter plays with just one set throughout? However he controls the sweat, how much ever he controls all that, it all depends upon his skill. Focus on the skill of the batter. Why not just ensure that, okay, change a glove every single time at a whim? That is one thing Ian Chappell's pointed out. Even about the bowling, if you want to make test cricket as far as time is concerned, if you want to make it a bit interesting, make it a fair playing ground. He cites the example of the batter and the bowler. He states, how can it be fair that a bowler has to nominate his method of delivery? Right arm over the wicket, right arm round the wicket, left arm round the wicket, left arm over the wicket through the umpire. But a batter can face left-handed but then change to play a right-handed shot. He does make a point. In white ball cricket, the proliferation of white ball cricket is such, a batter can have a different kind of a stroke. He can bat left-handed, but a bowler can't do that. He has to undergo a lot of things through the umpire which will slow down the game. And it will not be fair. Why should the bowler tell the umpire, oh, umpire, I'm going to bowl right arm round the wicket. Oh, I'm going to bowl right arm over the wicket. Screen, just because of the side screen changes and because you want to set the field accordingly. Setting the field accordingly has become rigid in that sense. Why can't you have a flexible field? Why can't captains be thought to think like that? That is one suggestion that Ian Chappell has suggested, that okay, don't go through the umpire, set a fluid field and bowl whichever way you want, right, left, or right arm over, left arm round, anything that suits you. Now, this is the one thing that Ian Chappell has raised a big thing upon, and many people do tend to agree upon it. Why aren't boundaries signalled only for balls that hit the rope rather than allowing pointless replays that look at the whereabouts of a fielder's feet or hand? Look, you want to set up, you want to ensure every run is accounted for in case if it's a close game. But how many times has a test match come close? By 1 run, 1 wicket, tight test. In over 145 years, very few. It can make a difference in white ball cricket where every run matters. But in test matches, you are looking at so many replays. Already the DRS is taking so much time. It just stagnates the test. It just stagnates the match flow. So Ian Chappell says, do away with replays. If it's going to the boundary, if a fielder has touched it, if it's well inside the rope, but if it is near the rope, signal it a boundary. Don't look at these endless replays that ensures, oh, it's not happened, 1 run is important, every run is vital. Don't look at that. Speed up test cricket through this way. Now, as far as an appealing is concerned, you remember in the 80s and 90s, this was a problem. This happened recently even in the Sydney cricket ground where bowlers used to charge at umpires for an appeal. He states, how come players are allowed to charge at umpires while they are appealing without any recrimination? Why can't you empower the umpire with the thing that, okay, if you charge at me, 5 penalty runs. If you charge at me for the second time, 10 penalty runs. In that way, you are ensuring that the umpire stays supreme. No player from either side can influence an umpire. These kind of charging and intimidation, it used to happen with the West Indies in the 1980s. Viv Richards in one classic case would charge, he would intimidate the umpire and the umpire scared, he would have to give it out. Pakistan and India used to do it so many times. That's why dodgy umpiring is so prevalent in the subcontinent. So, basic suggestions that Ian Chappell has said. Ensure that you don't see endless replays of a boundary check. If it's near the ropes, signal it as a 4. Just don't ensure whether the hand is in contact, whether any part of the body is in touch with the ropes. Don't waste time on that. For that, the ICC will have to really change the boundary count. They'll have to change the laws related to the boundary. That's one thing that they'll have to do. Second, he's saying, don't allow the bowlers to charge and ensure the umpires get intimidated. Let test cricket be played at a fluid pace. 6 hours, if you are not able to complete the overs, get a penalty in. Say in the form of runs, in the form of any kind of thing which will hurt the opposition. You have to speed up the pace of test cricket. Only in that way can test cricket stay relevant. Otherwise, the proliferation of leagues and with cricket going the league way, these kind of things will ensure test cricket is damaged. What do you think of Ian Chappell's suggestions? Are they practical? Are they good? Are they bad? Are they outrageous? You can write to us in the comments below. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live. And don't forget, we're on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Bye-bye.